It's Monday, December 19th, and this is now on HNN.
It's a first alert weather day. Strong winds, thunderstorms, big waves, all possible as a strong cold front moves through the islands.
Do we have any change of medicine personnel?
Plus, we've got an update on the dozens injured, some seriously, after that Hawaiian Airlines flight hit severe turbulence.
Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag. I'm Bradley Blackburn with the increased demand for Santa Claus.
It's really spending time together with everybody there.
These stories, plus Mariah gives us the details of her new holiday special that's coming up on This Is Now. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on This Is Now. We're going to begin with some breaking news on today's first alert weather day. Leaning poles have forced the closure of Kamehameha Highway in both directions. The closure is between Haiku Road and He'eia Street. Crews are aware of it and they are working to get the road back open as soon as possible, but there is no word on how long this closure will last. Once again, Kamehameha Highway closed in both directions because of some leaning poles.
And man, do we have a lot of breaking news to get to on this first alert weather day. Just into our newsroom, we have this video coming in from the Salt Lake area, and just look at that pounding rain and some pretty strong winds there too. We're bringing in our Billy V now from the first alert weather team with the very latest warnings that are out there, and there are a lot of them.
We're going to give you right off at the top here a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for the island of Oahu, and also flash flood warning is in effect for the Hawaiian Islands. Let's go ahead and go through this real quickly here. We'll show you the radar and kind of give you an idea. This is the overall picture. Boy, what a juicy mist this is. You can see those lightning bolts. Those are places where lightning is happening. And of course, we'll get into this. We'll go island by island real quickly. Lihue, they had it early on this morning, and they are starting to kind of clear out. The front is located over them and just to the east of them as it starts to get towards Oahu. Now, we've got our share of showers here on the island of Oahu. Take a look at this. Last couple of hours. Last frame there, you see that central Oahu, that's starting to be the northern part of the windward side, and there are showers, thunderstorms just to the south of us, but that may skirt us on by, but that means it's going to be over to Maui. Maui has had some flooding issues. We'll get into that in a little bit, and This Is Now, but you can see that the rain is passing and the thunderstorms are going by. Hawaii Island, over to the west side, by Kailua Kona, they're about to get wet. They're going to get some rumbling, and they are going to continue to get these showers until about 6 o'clock tonight. This is not even the front yet. This is just prefrontal moisture. So as we get into this, let us go ahead and give you the first alert weather headlines, and we'll give you the breakdown. Once again, the first alert is for the front that is bringing strong wind, heavy rain, and big surf. The winds, warning levels, thunderstorms, possibility of hail today. And, of course, big surf, which we'll get into separately here in a couple of moments. We're talking about the winds. You mentioned Kaneohe a couple of moments ago. We're worried about power lines, downed branches, gusty winds, especially downslope. I will explain downslope in a moment for you. Rain, of course, severe thunderstorms. Flash flooding is possible on saturated ground. Good morning or good midday, Maui, Kihei area. Chelsea Davis is over there, and we're worried about the Kihei area because it's already saturated. Now, for those of you on all islands, this is the direction that the winds are coming. But what happens is trade winds are the exact opposite. We're worried about this because the windward side will see exceptionally high winds with those gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Notice as the winds come over the ko'olau, because they're sharp, and the winds pick up speed as it goes down the windward side of the mountains. And so that's not something that usually we see. Those on the windward sides of all islands should take precautions because it will pick up speed, and that is pretty much what you will get. Let's talk finally about the surf. Big numbers, 30 to 40 feet on the north shore, 20 to 30 feet. This is big enough so you're going to have some places on Farrington Highway. If you live on the west side, you know what I'm talking about, where the surf is coming up over the highway. these are the things you should be careful about. There are lots of warnings and a lot of things that we are watching today.
And that is why Hawaii News Now has issued what we call a first alert weather day. Just real briefly, describe to us what that is.
Well, what we want to do is we want to let you know. Usually you would hear first alert weather when something is coming up. Like we knew about this 7 days, 6 days out. So we started telling you about it, saying this is what we're concerned about. This is what you should watch out for. But on this day, where it's a first alert weather day, we know that there are conditions that can cause damage or major disruptions. Power outages. You see the phone poles that are leaning. So, and of course the weather itself.
And speaking of that, we have more new video just into our newsroom. This is from one of our producers. I believe this is coming from the Kalihi area, and you can just see yet again that water just pounding the area, making it a little difficult to drain there off the roof there on that warehouse building we're looking at right now. Look, it looks like almost like a waterfall rushing over those gutters. Billy, how long is this stuff going to stick around? Is this moving out quickly?
It's not moving out exactly quickly. Now, it is passing showers. They are on the move. When they're on the move, we're talking that they're going by at, maybe 20, 30 miles per hour. So it is passing showers. But there are two things. One, we're already saturated with water, and the second thing is that when it does come down, boy, is it coming down heavy. So the timetable on this is the front is on its way over towards Oahu. We have some of that over us already. Maybe about more 1 o'clock this afternoon, 3 o'clock this afternoon, we're talking about Maui County. Hawaii Island start to have the full effects of this evening as we go 6 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. this evening. It'll start to get better tomorrow afternoon. We'll start to see it diminish. We'll start to seeing it drying. And then we'll get into the rest of the week where the weather will change. We'll have light winds and we'll see sunshine.
Just in time for Christmas. All right, we got even more video coming into our newsroom, right, Dylan?
Yes, we do. We want to take you to the island of Molokai. Let's start off with that video there.
Here it comes, right now.
Yes, you can see over there on the island of Molokai some severe flooding along the highways and the roadways there. This video sent to us by one of our viewers, Keani Rollins Fernandez, mahalo nui. Look at that. Amazing. A river just flooding through the roads there. Crews are definitely keeping an eye on, as Billy mentioned, these areas that are already heavily saturated. And it's areas like that we will see the most ponding on the roadways.
And this is not a unique situation we're seeing right here. This, I imagine, is taking place. Very similar ponding scene taking place in several areas across the state right now. So, guys, real quickly, you have another video coming in. You mentioned Maui, and this is where this image is coming to us from, right, Dylan?
Yeah, this image, look at that, road washed out. I'm not sure on the exact location of this in Maui. I'd have to double check my notes on that. But we got this video in not too long ago. And again, this severe flooding that we're talking about today is playing out all across the state in areas all over where the water just converges and creates a river. And so that's why it's so important to be aware of the warnings that are issued. And again, Oahu is currently under a severe thunderstorm warning until about 1:30 this afternoon.
And I believe when Chelsea sent us in, she said there was a Nu'u bridge that has been washed out there. Billy, you're saying this is really concerning for the Valley Isle because you look at this. This was before this latest round is coming into them. Very saturated stuff. So the saturated ground is only going to get hit by more extreme weather and extreme rain, and that's not good.
Yeah, in this instance here, this was pre-frontal moisture because the front hasn't even hit Maui yet. So what happened this morning on the radar, we saw it. You're familiar with the West Maui Mountains and then, of course, Haleakala on the other side. So what happened was all of the lightning and the thunder and the thunderstorms that were happening looked like it covered Haleakala, one half of the island or 2/3 of the island. So just to see all of that happening right there, and you see it right there on your screen, some of the results.
Yeah, I have one more video to show you guys. This is from Oahu, and this is the light show that we saw last night. Check this out.
Stunning.
We don't get lightning like this that often, and you just saw Billy's radar moments ago. Do you see all those bolts up there? A reminder, if you want to keep track of this stuff, head to your H&N weather app. Also, Wilson Tunnel, without lights as of an hour ago. Always scary there. And a number of trees down across the windward side already this morning. Casey Lund's been reporting on that all morning as well.
And really quickly, Billy, I want to ask you, how does this this prefrontal activity that we've already been seeing, how is that going to compare, or at least what we think we're going to see, compared to this afternoon?
There were 3 bands of showers that we saw, that we're seeing today. There was the first one, it's already passed through the Big Island. The second one is you're seeing between Maui and Hawaii Island. It just passed through Maui. And that third is the actual front itself. And according to the National Weather Service, they say that the front is stronger than the 2 prefrontal showers. So that'll give you some indication right there. It's going to be rougher than what we've seen earlier this morning or what we're seeing now.
Billy V, thank you so much for sticking around with us, hanging with us here in the H&N Digital Center. I know you're seeing a little bit overtime to bring you the latest information on this first alert weather day.
And just a reminder, Ben Gutierrez and Jennifer Robbins, they will have more for you as we go into the afternoon. And of course, stay right here with your first alert weather station.
Yeah, and get the app. Download it anytime. You still have time to get it. You can get radar at the palm of your hand. You guys, yesterday, the weather causing that wild turbulence on that Hawaiian Airlines flight heading in from Phoenix. We have an update on that right now from Carter Evans.
Ladies and gentlemen, attention on board. Do we have any change in medical personnel?
That plea for help from flight attendants just moments after a terrorizing ordeal on board Hawaiian Airlines Flight 35.
My life flashed before my eyes. I was scared.
The plane hit severe turbulence, which sent some passengers flying out of their seats.
The plane shook and then it went into a sudden drop.
Kaylee Reyes said her mom had just sat down after using the restroom when the turbulence started.
She hit the ceiling and she hit the floor.
Photos show damage to the inside cabin with overhead panels missing, a cracked ceiling, and debris thrown across the floor.
We did see patients with head injuries. At least one, I believe, was for a time rendered unconscious.
Paramedics treated 36 people who were injured on the flight, ranging from 14 months old to adults, 11 of them in serious condition. The FAA is investigating the incident. National Weather Service meteorologists said the plane may have flown into a thunderstorm, and it could have caused the turbulence. Hawaiian Airlines said it's working with officials in the investigation.
Seatbelt siren was on at the time that the incident occurred. There was no warning of this particular patch of air at that altitude was in any way dangerous. It caught everybody by surprise.
Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, let's go even more in depth about this really big story everyone is talking about from coast to coast. Yesterday, our reporter, Daryl Huff, spoke with aviation expert Peter Foreman about what went down and what may have caused the incident. Here's some of that conversation.
How likely is it that the plane knowingly went into a thunderstorm? I mean, that struck me, it doesn't sound like that's what happened, but why would that be very unlikely?
Okay, in wintertime is the season for turbulence issues with airliners. And there's 2 reasons. There's bends in the jet stream, which can really create some turbulence. The other thing is you have these north-south running lines of cold fronts running from Alaska all the way down to Hawaii. And when a plane comes up against that, it's got to find a good way through. So it has to pick the very best place to get through. So the bottom line is it could get some turbulence crossing through a cold front because there's convective activity, which is thunderstorm type clouds.
So you're talking about updrafts, downdrafts, what do they call those things? Microbursts, all kinds of stuff going on, right?
Well, yeah, but you know what happens is all the airliners have very good radar on board, and by adjusting the tilt of the radar and checking it out, you can find the least problematic way. And in some cases, if you don't have in the area that if a pilot has to stay within certain parameters when they're flying to Hawaii because they have certain tracks and there's somebody, maybe 10 miles to the left or right or 20 miles to the left or right, and they've got to stay away from that airplane. So if they were going to try and deviate too far, they would have to get permission from air traffic control. So it does get complicated for pilots, but yeah, they use a radar to pick out the very best way to get through.
And even if you've picked out using the radar the best way to get through, you can still run into something you don't expect.
Well, usually you don't. But Turbulence is weird. Turbulence can come 30 miles out of a thunderstorm. So you think you've got a safe distance, and you can still get some pretty good bumps out of it. So you can miss a thunderstorm, but still get some bumps. They're very unpredictable. So really, you have to give them a wide margin, and that's just part of flying in the wintertime. It really is hard to be 100% sure that you're not going to get any bumps when crossing a line like this.
North Korea is continuing to ramp up tests of ballistic missiles. South Korean and Japanese officials say a pair of missiles were fired yesterday, which landed in the waters between the two countries. It comes as Pyongyang says they're testing a new type of weapon, which experts believe could be a harder to detect rocket capable of reaching the entire U.S. It's been a record year for launches under the Kim Jong-un regime, with missile tests taking place on 35 days in 2022. In China, a concerning new prediction about the impacts of COVID-19. A new study projects there could be a significant number of deaths as the country moves forward from its zero COVID policies. Ivan Watson has more from Hong Kong.
Chinese authorities have confirmed at least 2 fatalities due to COVID in the capital, but the experts, using the wealth of information that's been gathered from around the world from this pandemic, have predicted that those mortality figures are going to grow substantially in the months ahead. There is a preprint report published by Hong Kong University that has yet to be peer-reviewed that is projecting that if the status quo conditions continue, that there could likely be 684 deaths out of every million COVID cases in mainland China. And by our math, that projects close to 1 million fatalities in the months ahead. Those numbers could be reduced substantially, the scientists who published this report predict, if the Chinese government succeeds in dramatically ramping up vaccinations and getting antiviral medicines out there. But anyway you cut it, China is in for a tough COVID winter in the months ahead. This is all the more dramatic because the Chinese government had been maintaining a zero COVID strategy prior to about a month ago, with border closures, with entire cities being locked down whenever there were a few COVID cases detected, with anybody who came in contact with one of those rare COVID cases being shipped off to quarantine camps. And now, after a series of protests across the country, the government seems to have moved back from these restrictions, while also the Omicron variant is spreading like wildfire through the population. The narrative from the government has almost transformed from, hey, COVID is a deadly disease that must be stopped at all costs, to, hey, it's not as dangerous now, this new variant, and we can perhaps live with it, with one provincial government saying to public sector workers, if you get a mild or asymptomatic case of COVID, you can still go to work. All of this amounts to a sharp U-turn in the rhetoric around this disease, even as experts are predicting that mainland China is in for a potentially deadly COVID winter. Ivan Watson, CNN, Hong Kong.
A situation we'll certainly keep on top of for you here at H&N. Want to now get to some news that the internet is talking about today. Listen up, concert lovers.
Yeah, exactly. The Piano Man won't be able to sing you a song tonight. Billy Joel's verified Facebook page issued a statement saying he is unfortunately postponing Monday night's scheduled show at Madison Square Garden due to an illness. Now, Joel says he has a viral infection and that doctors have advised him to rest his voice. The singer-songwriter has been performing once a month at the Garden since 2014, and he says he looks forward to getting back to the stage in 2023.
I was just in New York. So many advertisements and promotions about that concert. A lot of people excited about that. Probably sad that they're going to have to miss out for a bit. But another big show in the works.
Yeah, also happening at Madison Square Garden. For fans of Mariah Carey, tune into a very special broadcast happening tomorrow. There is a new 2-hour primetime concert airing tomorrow night, December 20th. It was filmed at Madison Square Garden, and it's called Mariah Carey, Merry Christmas to All.
This Christmas special is live from Madison Square Garden. So being that it's my hometown, being that like growing up, you're always, I mean, if you're an aspiring singer or whatever, looking at that like the name, like, you know, it's Madison Square Garden. This one show is going to be a one night only experience of me connecting with the people. It's really spending time together with everybody there, all the people that have come to the show and all the people that will be viewing the show. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most. And of course, the costumes and the drama and all the things, like we're bringing it for them. But like really, for me, it's the spirit. I always wanted and held on to this dream of having a perfect Christmas, like just wanted it to be great, you know, because I loved it. I love the magical quality of it all. And also I just, spiritually, I just felt connected. But it never happened. I wrote my first Christmas song, which was All I Want for Christmas Is You. And where it came from was a place of, okay, I never had a great Christmas as a child. My mom tried really hard as a single mom, but we didn't have money. I would listen to all the classics during Christmas with my family. As I grew up and was able to create my own Christmases, even like really young, just create my own, you know, people I wanted, my beloved Christmas family. And my song, All I Want, would come on and I'd be like, ugh, why did I do it like this? And then as time went by, I would be like, okay, I can enjoy it now, kind of like other people are telling me they enjoy this song.
And boy, oh boy, do they enjoy that song. I hear it all the time.
Yes, the proclaimed queen of Christmas there, Mariah Carey. Once again, her special airing live tomorrow night, December 20th, 8 to 10 p.m. on CBS Television Network and available for live streaming on Paramount+.
All right, more holiday news. Have you heard of this Santa shortage? Yeah, it's happening. It's out there. Bradley Blackburn has more on that.
This year, Santa Claus is busier than ever, and it seems everybody wants a piece of the man in red.
My brother and I have not missed a Santa picture since we were babies.
It makes me just feel a lot of joy.
Staffing firm HireSanta.com says demand is, well, through the chimney.
We're up over 30% from last year and up over 120% from pre-pandemic levels. Everyone is wanting to use Santa. For every one Santa that comes to us, we have about 20 clients that are looking for Santa.
The company's sold out on weekends faster than ever before. From private events to malls across the country, it's crunch time for Chris Kringle and his helpers.
I got time to go home and go to bed, get back up and start over again.
I hate turning people away when I'm already booked.
HireSanta.com says there's also an increased demand for diverse Santas.
圣诞快乐.
And those fluent in other languages, including American Sign Language. Here at Bank of America Winter Village at Bryant Park in New York, St. Nick greets children outside. But with COVID protocols lifted in most places, kids are getting a chance to whisper in Santa's ear once again.
We took 2 years off for COVID, so that's why this is extra special.
Macy's Herald Square still keeps a little distance, featuring Santa behind his workshop desk. HireSanta.com says it's trying to throw a little more green Santa's way, with inflation pinching Santa's wallet too.
A good Santa suit start at about $1,000 and can go up from there. And then you've got the belts and the boots and all the other accessories.
And while this year is basically in the bag, customers are already booking for 2023, guaranteeing Santa's gonna need that long winter's nap. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
$1,000 for a Santa suit? I think you can find them cheaper at Party City, just so you know. You guys, that's going to do it for This Is Now First Alert Weather Day. Get everything you need to know on your H&N digital platforms now.